everybody, this is Virginia here, the TGIF Rant Show, and it's 1 p.m. here in Lakewood. As you can see, I'm moving a little bit stiffly today. My right shoulder is acting up again. I woke up this morning, I could barely move it. barely able to move anything. Anyway, a number of things happened this week. A lot of it's historical. Of course, you know, the Kansas women just told the men to take their anti-abortion thing to overturn their constitution, because their right to abortion is embedded in the Kansas Constitution. And it's been there for a long time. It's been there since the 1800s. And hey Nancy, did you get my email regarding your product? Hey Dorothy, it's being shipped right now, so it takes like 3 to 5 days. It depends on where it comes from. Okay, so you should get it soon. I flashed a note to de-esters and I told them there is a problem with that. And I also told the Shopify guys that you need to make the confirming the products and everything you purchase the products user friendly. So they need to do a little revamping there. Anyway, so keep me posted, Nancy, if you get your product, and if you do, let me know, okay? I want to make sure you got it, okay? And that you're happy with it. That's the important thing. Alright, now, of course you know, Alex Jones is always being a idiot. He's the head of the so-called InfoWars podcast that he's been doing for the last, 4 or 5 years. Really stupid stuff. And it kind of proves to me he's still being obtuse and stupid. I felt sorry for the judge that was presiding over the examination trial the last couple of days. And the verdict came back really swift. The jury came back and said he is now required to pay $4 million, or 4 or 14 million, I think it was 14 million, $14 million to the victims of Sandy Hook parents. All because he was harassing them and causing all kinds of problems, and people just had enough, and they need to have a way of shutting him up. The judge was trying to tell him, no, you can't do this, and you cannot do that, and his lawyers should have educated him better, but knowing Jones, he didn't listen. And she said, no, you cannot say that you're bankrupt, because you may have filed for bankruptcy, but you're not bankrupt. And so she repeated a number of questions to him, and he kind of didn't really answer, or whatever reason, and he still wouldn't listen. And I half expected her to take her gavel and hit him over the head with it and knock some sense into him. I mean, I don't condone violence, but you know, you run across a person that you explain something to them and that person twists things or doesn't listen or whatever, and you just want to go, you know, like, hey, you need to listen up. So anyway, he's now required to pay about $14 million. Well, he thinks that'll sink his InfoWars. Well, if we just shut up and just went along with what happened at Sandy Hook and say, hey, this was horrible, and this and that and the other, then he would have been fine. And harassing them was wrong. Harassing those parents were wrong. And sending them text messages and harassing them and saying things that are not true. Sure, a person has to be responsible for what they say. But when it comes down to harassing or trolling them, if you will, that's where it could get you into trouble. Okay? He was bullying them. Bullying them is what he was doing. Right? He was bullying them. And I hate bullies. So, anyway, I hope he learned his lesson. If he doesn't, then InfoWars needs to be shut down. Yeah, the kids are dead. And he said, how can that be? Yeah, and the listeners need to be held accountable as well. And it's not a hoax of what happened at Sandy Hook, ever. Not a hoax whatsoever. So, I hope he really gets slapped hard. I really do. Because that's, to me, that's harassment. That's felony harassment. Okay? It should be a felony. Okay, oh, I read an interesting article about 5-10 minutes ago. This is in Pennsylvania, a GOP district attorney. Her name was Amy White, and she was trying to suppress votes, voter suppression. And she was trying to deny this one black lady that did serve her prison sentence, and she was allowed by the county, allowed by the state, the Attorney General, that this lady, Miss Moses, has given the right to vote now that she completed her sentence. Well, this DA wasn't going to let her. She said, well, you've been tricked, you've been this, that, and the other. Well, guess what? She lost this White, lost her re-election bid. It was basically almost a landslide. People were sick and tired of, I think now people are sick and tired of bullies, period. And trying to take away rights of others. You're not supposed to do that. She lost the re-election bid to Democrat Steve Milroy, and he is a professor at the local college there, their law college. And I've forgotten what town it was or what city it was. Moses, who completed her felony sentence, completed it about 4 or 5 years ago now. And she was given a second chance, and then her voting rights were reinstated. And this district attorney who got booted, she was trying to deny her the right to vote. That's not going to work. So I hope White is given a harsh lesson of, okay, you can't vote either, to see what happens. And I'll bet you she'll squawk. Um, so anyway, that's what's happened there in Pennsylvania. You know, just county, whatever county this was in. So anyway, she got in trouble for that. So she's bye-bye, Miss White. The other one, yesterday, well, all this week there was history made. As I stated before, the Kansas women told, no, leave the abortion, right to abortion alone in their state constitution. In other words, they slapped the men back and say, you're forgetting where you're coming from more than anything. Anyway, yesterday, SpaceX, they assisted South Korea's space agency of launching a lunar explorer orbiter around the moon. They launched it yesterday. The first time for South Korea. They're sending an instrument to the moon so they could explore it, and looking at maybe colonizing the moon, or pick a spot where they could colonize the moon. They're really into space exploration. They really are. The South Koreans. They're not playing around. They're going for it. And so SpaceX offered them to, SpaceX was going to use their own rocket, but, or not SpaceX, but South Korea was going to use their own rocket, but they discovered it wasn't powerful enough, and it had some problems. And SpaceX, which is the American company, said to South Korea, how would you like us to launch the orbiter for you? Send it off for you. And that way it gives you time to find out what's wrong with your rocket and what changes you need to make. That way the launch of your orbiter does not set you back. And South Korea was going, okay, let's go for it. So they launched the orbiter yesterday. When they're doing this, it takes their orbiter about 6 months to get to the moon. It takes about that long to get to the moon. When we landed on the moon, it took, 4.5 days? But the South Koreans were doing it along about way. That when they explore everything, they could explore the trajectory, what other information that they may need. And so when they get the information back, then they can work on fixing their rocket issues. South Korea can. South Korea also has sent up astronauts to the International Space Station too. And so they look like they're going to be taking Russia's place in that thing, since Russia decided to be acting like spoiled brats and decide to abandon the station after 2024, and they want to build their own station. Well, to Russia, good luck. China's already got its space station up there. So it's on the other, it's circling opposite, it's on the opposite side of the planet, so they're not right next door to each other or anything, they're just circling around the planet opposite, which makes sense. I'd be doing that too. I mean, you pick your parking spot and stay there. There are now already at the moon 3 orbiting satellites around the moon by 3 different countries: China, us, and now South Korea. Russia did send one up there too. But since they're program is pretty much curtailed because of their bullying and going after Ukraine. And they screwed themselves up. Putin screwed everything up by doing that. Ukraine's again is kicking Russia's butt. And the first green cargo ship has left Odessa, left the port, and so now they're making sure there's no mines. The mines have been cleared by Ukraine and the U.S. Navy. U.S. Navy assisted clearing the water mines. So, first, in that way they can relieve the food, the price of food and wheat and everything else. So they're getting the wheat out of Ukraine. Ukraine, they export, what they say, what their percentage was they export on grain. They export about almost 50% of the grain products to the world. Russia hasn't exported any because they haven't. Putin decides to be selfish, okay? So anyway, Ukraine is kicking butt, and they should kick butt. Now, I don't know if you heard in the news or not, in the little town of Lind, Washington, L-I-N-D, which is east of here. East is that way from me here. Lind, Washington. They had a real nasty brush fire, or what they call wildfire, go through that area. The homes outside of Lind, which is a population of 535 people. It's not a very big town, it's a small town. It's smaller than Roy. Roy's 835. Okay. But then it's 535, and most of it's farming, and 6 homes have been lost. 6 homes, and they said like 3 or 4 businesses outside of town was lost to the fire. But they were able to save the rest of the town and rest of the residents. The town evacuated because of the brush fire. Now they're coming back home, assessing everything, and then figure out a way to help those that lost their homes. The one gal did, she rushed back home. The house was okay. Her chickens, her goats, everything was okay. And her dogs and cats, and her husband and her son, everything's okay. The neighbor is staying with them, since he lost everything. But we hope the insurance companies would honor the fire insurance on this. It should. They should pay out. Insurance companies are in business to help. They should not be in business just to rake in the money and then refuse to honor the claims. When they do that, then they should be head slapped. Because years ago, there used to be things like that. They called act of God, and they won't honor the claims. Well, our state attorney general here says, if you want to stay in business here, you have to pay out the claims. You can't claim act of God. So it became a federal mandate that insurance companies, as a general in the United States, they cannot claim act of God. There's no such thing as that anymore. You have to pay out the claims. If you want to get the economy and everything going again, you have to pay it out. So, in other words, insurance companies need to go back to, what do they call it? Economic classes, if you will, of how things work. So anyway, that's what happened to them. And they're okay, they're safe, everybody's okay, no one's hurt. None of the animals are lost. It's just homes that were lost. The next thing that's happening right now, I don't know if you've heard about that in the news too. Iceland's Gilfingvar volcano is acting up again. It's going right now. There are live postings are going live on YouTube. You look it up. This volcano, they opened a brand new fissure, and there's like one, two, three, all in a line. Volcanoes are erupting right now. They're right next door to each other. And right now there's a river of lava and everything's going, but it's going back down the other way down to where the old lava patch is. But this is like a little too close to the airport and the capital of Iceland. Those guys are sitting there going, they're really kind of worried about this. So they're trying to think of ways how to guide the volcano away from the airport and the capital. So, because when this first started was last year, in 2021, when it first started erupting in like in February or March of 2021, when it started erupting in Iceland. And of course, throughout the year, we have had one Canary Islands. There's one couple, like, including Hawaii. One over in the Philippines. Mother Nature is, let's put it this way, Mother Nature's a little bit pissed. She's not happy with us. And we need to do something to make her happy. For her to settle down, calm down, and, in other words, we need to get along. A little hard when you've got two countries that are bullying other countries and they're not paying attention to what's really going on. China's been singing their... China, you need to stop harassing Taiwan. Leave them alone. Taiwan does not belong to you. Ever. They never have. Okay? So leave them alone. Stop making up excuses. Stop harassing people that support and help Taiwan. Nancy Pelosi over the weekend, she went to visit there because there's a number of federal government programs. Hey Carol! Hi! How you feeling? I hope better. Anyway, they said, well, if she goes over there will be consequences and everything else. You know what? It sounds like to me, it probably sounds like you too. You're in a grade schoolyard, and you know how politics are in grade schoolyards. You have this one person or a group of people, or just one person, bullying and say, well, I don't want you friends with this other person type thing. Well, this is how China's acting. Okay? They don't want anybody to be friends with Taiwan. And you know what my thing to Taiwan is? Well, excuse me, correction. You know what my thing to China is? Neater, 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 neater. You need to grow up, China. You need to leave Taiwan alone. Taiwan's much better behaved than you are. Taiwan's always been very truthful. They never caused any problems in the world, where you guys have. So knock it off, China. Now, Russia. That's another bully. Right now, he's bullying Ukraine. He needs to leave Ukraine alone. He needs to leave the Baltic states alone. And Ukraine needs to let 2 Americans go and let them come home. Okay? They have no reason to keep the Americans there, ever. Period, whatsoever. I talked to one person years ago he was formerly a Russian citizen, and he said the justice system in Russia is like a kangaroo court. They do it according to their whim. They don't use facts. And that's why a lot of innocent people are put in prison, because they don't pay attention to facts. It's not all on their whims. They just railroad them because they don't like that person speaking the truth, or don't like this person doing that or another. And I think Putin needs the money to go to the gullet. I really do. Both Russia and China need to knock it off. They really do. And I don't care how big they are. I don't know how advanced China's Air Force is or Army is or anything. I don't know how much they advanced anything now. You know that Russia hasn't really advanced that much. Most of their equipment is 1970s, and they probably never upgraded. So those are the communist leading countries like China and Russia. They never gotten very far. They never really grew. Well, we saw that. But democratic countries like U.S. and others, yes, they grew. They want to make things better for everybody, not just a select few. And that's why we need to fight back and say, hey, don't you want to make things better? Well, if the other person says, well, yeah, then why are you saying, why are you resisting? Oh, and Finland and Sweden is now part of NATO. And Russia doesn't have, Putin can't really say or do much because of that. But if he attacks Sweden or Finland, guess what? He gets in trouble. So, anyway, now guys, on my store, gingerstormlore.com, let me give you my thing real quick, just in case you lost it. Where is it? What happened? There we go. Hold on a minute, let me get it in. Just a minute, it's a little bit slow. Okay. Here's my store. And this is the item you see right here. That's the item that Nancy's getting. I resolved the issue with that, and she should get it sometime next week sometime. So, they're like $9. So anyway, yes, I'm ready to head for eating lunch and get well. I will post this video on YouTube, and be sure to let everybody else know to go to my YouTube thing. I need subscribers, okay? And I would like to expand this where I can start selling some of my items. And I'm promoting my store right now. So, thank you, Nancy. Yeah, I'm promoting my store, and I also will be making up through Printful some items through my Ginger's Rant show, too. So anyway, I love you guys. I will see you on Monday at 1 o'clock. Let me quickly double check my schedule. Yeah, I'm good. I'll see you on Monday at 1, the Ginger's Rant show then. And I'll see you guys at the Blue Dot family meeting on Sunday night. Anyway, I hope all is well. Take care. Love, hugs, and be sure to insist, persist, and push back. Okay? And vote if you have not already. Okay? Talk to you later. Love you all. Love you. Bye-bye. Have a good weekend.